Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. Okay, guys, so I already recorded over an hour long and YouTube stopped working and it disappeared. So I'm starting again. I did see you guys vote. There was like a tie between what needs to be healed and what turns them on. So this is going to be what needs to be healed because I received a new deck today, the Magic Dogs Tarot, and I feel like that's more appropriate to use for what needs to be healed. But the next reading that I'll do, I'm going to do the what turns them on, and then I will do the other one for you guys too. They're back. Now what? So I'll try to get them out quickly. I was hoping to get 2 done tonight, but it is now 2 a.m. and I'm starting over. So hopefully it works this time. Hopefully it stays on. We're going to do pile 1, 2, and 3. I was literally on pile 3, and so I know the messages, so hopefully I'll get through them quicker this time. But we're going to see what needs to be healed with the first pile. I'm hoping I can recapture the magic because it was a beautiful reading and I really went into depth with all of them. But stuff happens for a reason. So first of all, we have Dark Angel. So the message here is that there's some shadow stuff that needs to be healed within the connection. Shadow work is very important. And when you're on either a twin flame or a high-level soulmate connection, the person you're on the connection with is going to trigger stuff inside of you that is already there, but they do a really good job at bringing it out. So for me, I can have like an abandonment issue. When I was really young, my dad and my mom split up, and I remember my dad asking, "Who do you want to live with?" And he kept asking me that question over and over, and I got upset because he was like, "You have to choose," and I said, "Mom." And so later on in life, when I didn't see him that much, I would kind of equate it to that decision. So I blame myself. So I had the abandonment wound. I had that wound of like, maybe it's my fault. And then, fast forward, I've had a lot of those things come up in my connections with people where I feel like I'm being abandoned. So if you've got a chaser, runner dynamic, or you've got somebody that comes into your life but then just disappears, or you send them a message and they don't respond to it, that's going to trigger that type of wound in you. But that's a shadow wound from your inner child, from something that happened in childhood. So that was one of them that I felt like was coming through here, was like that abandonment wound needs to be addressed, whether it's from this lifetime or past life. It's a shadow thing that needs to be healed. Now your counterpart may have them too. So whatever they've been afraid of, maybe they're afraid of commitment, maybe they're afraid of rejection. Okay, so if they reject you before you can reject them, that's a core wound that needs to be healed. That's something that's triggered through the dark aspects of our shadow, from our inner child, from past lives, from past relationships. All of that stuff is what needs to be looked at. So you can also have things coming up from your person that you may not really understand at the core level. It's there though, okay? So if this person just does stuff and you don't really understand it, you want to look deeper into it to figure out where it's coming from. The triggers are always going to be connected to something that's happened to you before, whether it was this lifetime or another, it's in there. So Spirit's really saying that you need to kind of just go within and figure out what your inner child wounds are, what your past life wounds are, what your person's wounds are, why the behaviors are that way. Sometimes they do stuff that really hurts us, but it's not because they want to hurt you. It's because they're designed to trigger you. They're your mirror. And when you look in that mirror and it's not fully healed, they're going to do stuff to you that brings stuff up that needs to be looked at so that it can be healed. And then you can release yourself and then you can come together without triggering those things into each other. I can't remember what the other thing was. I know there was something else. Maybe that's why I had to start over, because it wasn't meant to come through. So the other card here, Merkaba Spiritual Protection, I feel like because of these wounds, because of these triggers, hi Alcyon, there's a need for unconditional love. So this person may have done some really like crappy things, or could have triggered some things inside of you, and you've been struggling to either love yourself unconditionally or to love them unconditionally. So that is another big part of your twin flame soulmate dynamics, is unconditional love. These people are going to trigger you and teach you how to love unconditionally, because if you can't heal or release yourself from things that they did, and realize that it was there for a reason, there was something inside of you that just needed to be looked at, and you're holding on to resentment, that's going to close your heart off. So if you are looking at it as like a victim mentality of like, they did this to me, I don't love them anymore, you need to open your heart back up. So I feel that spirit really just needs you to start protecting yourself too. Like, put yourself into a bubble. And this can be even coming up in other relationships. It doesn't have to just be the relationship with your counterpart. Like, what type of dynamics have repeated over and over in your life? Did you constantly get cheated on? Or were you constantly, abandoned? These are things that are clear indications that they need to be healed, but you also need to be able to open your heart up so that you can heal those things in an unconditional way for yourself and for your person. Another thing I noticed with this was that of all these candles, some of them to me were indicating like a twin flame connection, but also the Four of Wands energy. So it's like this has spiritual protection. All right, if you're on a twin flame journey, it's a spiritual journey. It's protected. Your union is protected. It may not come together in this lifetime, but it will definitely come together. You will reach union. So you want to be able to open your heart up to that understanding and unconditionally love them and unconditionally love yourself, so that you can reach that union within, so that you can reach that union outside of yourself, so that you can, grow and ascend. And that's more so what it's about, is growing and healing rather than coming together with this person. And when you grow and you heal and you face those triggers, you face that darkness, you protect yourself even more so, you rise up, you attract the union by default. And then we have the Earth Alpha female that came through. So this is the Queen of Pentacles. I also feel like somebody in this connection may be finding their value and worth in external sources like money or how you look. Maybe, and I also feel like there's a shift happening too a lot. Like, you maybe feel like you get up, you get dressed, you look really good, you feel great, and then either you see something, you hear something, you feel something, and that goes out the window. There's like a fluctuation in your value and your worth. But it's like being impacted by external forces. And the Pentacles is about like stability in the material world. So I feel like this is an issue that needs to be healed, is that you got to find that stability and that value within rather than from external sources, from people. Because if people are abandoning you, you're finding that, okay, there's something wrong with me. I don't have value. This person doesn't like me. So let me get this. Let me buy that. Let me look this way. Maybe I'll get more recognition. Maybe people will want to stay around more. Okay. And that could be you or them or both of you. Because again, if you're on a twin flame journey, you're going to mirror a lot of this stuff. So you may both have core wounds that are very similar to each other. Some of them will be, some of them won't be. But I feel like one of the big ones here is that abandonment issue. And instead of going within for the validation of yourself, for that unconditional love, you're maybe looking outside, or your person is looking outside through, recognition from each other or recognition from money or material items. And it's actually hurting the connection a lot. So again, you want to go within to your heart and just practice that self-love. Open yourself up and trust that you are valuable. And when you realize that, it kind of eliminates that energy of feeling like you're going to be rejected or you're going to be abandoned, because you're not abandoning yourself anymore. When you look external for that validation, you're abandoning yourself. So the core of this issue could be from within. You may have been abandoning yourself all along, when in reality you all right, you could have been looking outside of you, feeling like you were being abandoned by others, but when in reality you were abandoning yourself by not feeling whole and complete on your own. And when you feel that wholeness and that completion within yourself, you heal that darkness, you open yourself up for union, you open your heart up for unconditional love. And I also feel that this person may have really hurt you along the way, and you could just not want to love them anymore. You may be wanting to close your heart down, and that's going to impact it too. That needs to be healed. You need to be able to love them unconditionally and thank them for the triggers and the wounds, because without that, you wouldn't grow. You wouldn't be acknowledging them. You wouldn't realize that there was an issue. And so they've been designed to give you that recognition, that understanding that, all right, this is an issue, I need to fix this, without coming into a victim consciousness of they did this, they did that, da 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 da. You know, open your heart up and love them. And also know that sometimes when they do some not so nice stuff, it's because of their core wounds. It's not because they want to hurt you. It's not because they want to be a piece of shit or just, you know, take all your value and worth away. It's because there's something inside of them that needs to heal as well. So we can kind of take away that victim energy when you realize it's not personal. It's just what is being shown to you that needs to be healed. And then with the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like one of you is obviously probably more spiritual, more connected to the understanding of this journey. All right, you may have the understanding and they may not really know what a twin flame is, or they may not know what a soulmate is, or they may not be piecing together the parts of the journey that you have. And I also feel like that's another thing too. Like, you need to start piecing these things together more so. You were woke so that you could heal, so that you could grow, so that you could ascend, so that you could piece these pieces together. But I also feel like there's a little bit of resentment that the person you're on the journey with isn't piecing it together themselves. They may be a little bit behind you. They're not healing. They're not growing. They're not doing what they, set off to do, or that you would maybe want them to do. So again, not in that unconditional loving energy, because you're more focused on the external of how come they're not here yet. And again, I feel like there could be a part of this too, because you see this person's awake, right? You may be piecing things together and trying to do things solely for the fact of union. All right, like, oh, if I do this, maybe I'll get that. Or if I do this, maybe I'll get that. Again, external validation. You got to stop focusing so much on the external, focusing so much on, if I do this, what's the outcome going to be? If I heal this, they'll come back. You got to awaken to that point of realizing that's not what it's about. It's about healing for the collective consciousness. It's about healing the lineage for your ancestors. So the divine masculine in the journey is going to be healing for all masculines. The divine feminine is going to be healing for all feminines. So you got to piece it together in that way, rather than just piecing these pieces together so that you can have an outcome in the material world, in the physical world, based on what you want, okay? And that's a big journey. And it's a spiritual journey, and it's protected. It's meant to happen. So you got to also hold on to that understanding that this is all for a higher divine purpose. You're not meant to just piece it together and come together romantically. You're meant to piece these things together to heal them for the collective, so that you can heal the core wounds of all divine feminines, or you can heal the core wounds of all divine masculines, so that the ascension can happen for everybody, so that we can release the limitations of the consciousness on the third dimensional reality that we have here, so that we can step outside of the illusions, we can step outside of the focus on the physical, and we can go within and we can ascend. So that's what your main purpose is. But I feel like some of you know it, but some of you get a little angry about it, the fact that you're doing all this work and it's not getting you anywhere. Why aren't they here yet? Where are they? So that needs to be healed. You got to start looking from a higher perspective, also a higher perspective in regards to the heart connection. I feel like some of you do love them unconditionally, but it's like you don't want to. And some of you are getting resentful about how much work you've done and they're not doing it. So those are things that need to be healed. With the Sky Puppy, this is the Page of Swords. So again, there's an element of external factors in this connection that is impacting it in a negative way. Mona? No. Sorry. So the Page of Swords can be somebody that's like checking up on you through social media, or somebody that, you know, is just texting you and then maybe, or you text them and they don't answer you. Page of Swords energy is just like an observer. So maybe you text them, they just look at it and that triggers you. It makes you angry. Or maybe, you know, you're connected on social media. They're the karmic partner. You go look at their Facebook, or you go look at their Instagram, or you go look at their whatever it is. And whatever you see there could be triggering you. Again, external factors. I feel like Spirit's saying that you need to stop looking at those things that are triggering you, and also be mindful that there may be things that you're doing that are triggering them. So if you started dating new people, if you're posting pictures of you and this new person, you know, that's going to be impacting them negatively, because it's going to trigger them the same way it would trigger you. So again, you want to bring your focus back within and not be so focused on the external, not be so focused on what they're doing in the physical. Stop. Dogs are being crazy now. I've been over here for like 2 hours. So like for me, I disconnected from mine because I was triggered. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep being triggered like that. So the only thing I have now is that if I post something publicly on Facebook, they can see that. That's it. Everything else is disconnected. And the only thing I can see of theirs is if they change their profile picture on Facebook. That's it. So that has helped tremendously to stop being triggered by things that's going on in that person's life. You know, you don't want to be triggering yourself or looking at the external. You want to go within, particularly if you're dealing with karmic stuff, because if they're in a karmic connection, that stuff's going to trigger you. And then people always overthink. And I just feel like you're finding a lot of validation through the external world when you need to be going within, opening your heart, loving unconditionally, regardless of what's going on. You don't have to love the fact that they're with a karmic. You don't have to love the fact that they've done something that hurt you. But you just have to love yourself enough to know that it's all for a purpose, and love them enough to know that they're not doing it on purpose. They're just living their life. And if it's impacting you negatively, then stop going and focusing on the external. Go within, open your heart, and heal from within. Stop looking at the stuff that's making you jump into those triggers over and over and over. Protect yourself. You know, that's the message here. Protect yourself from this stuff. Stop getting resentful about this stuff. Stop getting angry about this stuff. Just go within and do what you got to do for your purpose, and be mindful of the things that you may be doing, because that could be triggering as well. I mean, granted, these are people who are meant to trigger you, but you don't want to be making it to the point where you're in the hermit depressed mode. So I feel like some of you could be getting there, and I feel like these two are very much connected. You may be seeing stuff in the external world that's triggering you to the point where you get depressed. You go into the hermit, you reflect on it to the point where you're now depressed, you're now miserable, you're now questioning if this person loves you, you're questioning if you could, like, you're taking away your self-love, and if you don't love yourself, you can't love them, right? And the more you focus on the unconditional love for yourself, the more you're loving them too, because you guys share the same soul, the same energy. So if you love yourself unconditionally, you love them unconditionally. So if it's too hard to love them unconditionally right now, focus on yourself. Stop focusing on things that are triggering this depression or this isolation in you. Get out there and live your life. But be mindful about getting out there and living your life. Don't flaunt it in their face. Don't make them feel shitty. And if you are going to go out there and live your life in that way, don't let them, don't put it in their face, basically. Like I know what to post public, and I know what to post for just friends. So that's what you need to do. You need to be mindful of each other, have respect for each other. Don't try to trigger each other. And I don't feel like many of you are trying to trigger this person, but I feel like you could be triggering them unknowingly. And I feel like this person may be triggering you unknowingly as well. I don't feel like it's like, hey, let me do this on purpose. I feel like this may be happening just because. So it is kind of a message here to just stop focusing in the external and stop getting resentful about what you've been doing this far. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. So again, this energy of self-worth is coming through, and like knowing that what you have is good enough. You don't have to feel like you're not valuable. You don't have to feel like there's something wrong or that you need something else to validate you externally. You have everything you need inside of you, and you have everything you need to reach your Four of Wands, your twin flame or soulmate 1111 union. You have all of this stuff. And again, these were the two that came through the spirit messages, the animal cards. We have sometimes life stings with the wasp and turn knowledge into wisdom with the wolf. So again, this element here, sometimes it's going to sting, the things that you see and the things that happen, but you can turn that wisdom and that knowledge that you've been piecing together. When you take all of that energy and you, instead of focusing it outside, you brought it inside. When you feel like you're more protected and you're healing the shadow parts, that's going to help you to turn that knowledge into wisdom. And whatever you learn, whatever you heal, whatever happens in you, it's going to happen for them too. But you don't want to be resentful of it, okay? Just do it from that place of unconditional love, regardless of their actions, regardless of their non-actions, regardless of who they're with or what they're doing. Just keep doing you, keep growing, keep healing, keep ascending, keep taking the stings and turning them into wisdom so that you don't have to go into this place of depression, and stop doing things that are going to trigger you to the point where you get depressed, and don't try to trigger anybody else. Okay. So that is pile number 1, much shorter than than it was before, but I guess that was for a reason. So I'm going to move on to number 2, which is the amethyst, and we're going to see what needs to be healed in your connection, and then the next time I will do the other ones that were coming through on the survey that I did. So first of all, we have the reassurance of the golden light, which is number 36. If you add that up, it's 9. I feel like you've come to the end of a very big cycle, and you're at this point where you don't really know where your connection's going. You're kind of like freaking out a little bit. Like some of you, I feel, could be wondering if you were on the journey with the right person. Some of you could just be wondering, like, are we ever going to get together? Some of you could just be wondering, like, what should I do right now? It's like there's just this energy of needing reassurance. But Spirit is coming in to say that all of that is inside of you. Okay, all of the wisdom is there for you. You are your I am presence. You are spirit. You have all the reassurance that you need through your heart. You need to open your heart. This is a reoccurring message through all of this. I feel like I'm going to record a heart opening meditation for you guys, because that came through in that pile, and I feel like it's just needed for everybody in the collective to be able to open their heart up, to heal their emotions. So the other energy that was coming through with this is just reassure yourself. And this is reassurance from Spirit that you're exactly where you're meant to be. You just closed out a huge cycle. You just closed a big cycle within your connection. You get to choose, though, how this next part of the journey goes. If it's going to go into a place of balance, or if it's going to go into a place of imbalance. Is it going to go to a place of abundance, or is it going to go to a place of lack? But you're the one that guides the light. You're the one that guides the energy. You're the one that reassures this journey. And you really, really need to heal your emotions. So the first two that came out was the whale spirit, trust the great mystery, and then the white raven spirit, which is trust in magic. So the big message here is trust. And we have 666. So I feel like you may be, again, too focused on like stupid stuff, right? Just like fears and doubts, not knowing. You're just not trusting. You're not trusting in the mystery. You're not trusting in the magic. You're looking for all the details. How is this going to happen? When's it going to happen? Where is it going to go? What is this going to do? Blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff. You're looking for reassurance everywhere outside when you need to be looking for the reassurance within, but also trusting and giving over that attachment to need to know. Okay, that is one of the big things here. So you just need to connect with your emotional body and allow these things from the past to be washed away, to be cleansed, to be healed, to allow that last part of your journey to let it go. Just let it all go. Don't worry about the next part. Don't worry about where you're going. Just know that where you are right now is where you're meant to be, and stay in that flow so that you can bring balance, so that you can bring abundance, so that you can heal and have that justice manifested into your connection. And then we had the dolphin and the turtle. So again, huge emotional energy. All of this is water energy. The blue is like the water as well. I feel like you really need to wash away and cleanse any imbalances in your emotions. And it says this and that are true, and then slow and steady wins the race. I feel like you guys may be in a rush to know, or a rush to get into the next part of the journey, a rush forward. Whether you're going into the next journey, like, I feel like some of you could be letting go of a person and you're like, well, is this the right choice? Should I be going on to this next person? Some of you are wondering, are they coming back? When are they going to come back? Some of you are just kind of too focused on what's going to happen. You got to slow yourself down and know that whatever you're focusing on is true. So if your emotions are imbalanced, in one moment you're really focused on one thing and the next moment you're really focused on something else, and you're like all up and down in your emotions, that's what's going to manifest in the physical world. It's like you're thinking about it, you're feeling it, and then you're rippling it into the physical. This is how the power of attraction works. Whatever you think, you become. Whatever you feel, you become. So you want to slow down. And you want to know that whatever you're feeling is true in that moment. You're getting reassurance from your emotional body. But if your emotional body is imbalanced and it's not cleansed and you're not releasing and you're not trusting and you're just like so focused on all the tiny details, you're going to manifest from a place of imbalance and fear, and that's what's going to be true in that moment. So you've got to release that and just slow yourself down. Trust the process. Trust the magic. Trust and know that you don't get to know all the details. All the information that you need to know is inside of you. You're going to feel it, but you don't need to know everything right now because you're creating it. So if you're constantly worried or wondering, you're creating worry. You're going to keep yourself in that place of wondering. So you want to just trust. Trust that this is flowing. Trust that there is magic around you. Trust that everything that's manifesting is manifesting for a reason, and that you really need to start focusing on your inner joy and the process rather than the external conflict. Just heal. Get into the water. Go to the ocean. Connect with the salt water to wash away any emotional imbalances or energies that are keeping you in a place of ugh. I just feel like these waves are constantly going like this, but you just need to slow it down and trust and know that everything is happening exactly as it's meant to. If this person is meant to come back into your life in this lifetime, they will. If this is the journey that you're supposed to be on, it will. But if you're in this energy or in this flow, you're pushing it further and further away from you because you're not allowing it to come to you. It's like you just need to go, and I feel like you're going into the next wave. So, they talk about twin flame waves, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. I feel like you're shifting from the wave that you were in to the next wave. It's like you're going into the next part of the journey, and you need to just trust the process and not freak out about it. Then we have the Fool. So I feel like you really need to just take that leap of faith. Whatever you've been feeling, when you calm that stuff down, when you release all the emotions of that past part of the journey, that past cycle that you just ended, right? All of the fluctuations, all the pain, all the sorrow that you went through, wash it away and take that leap of faith once you feel balanced to know where you're going. If it's into a new connection, take the leap. If it's staying in the old connection, take that leap. Take that leap and trust that no matter what you're feeling, it's true in that moment. And you can always change it later. You don't have to worry about, if you're making the wrong decision. Because if you're worried about making the wrong decision, you are making the wrong decision. But if you feel confident and you just trust and know that you can't make the wrong decision, then you'll never make the wrong decision. You'll be good to go. You'll flow. So just start to know that. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. And look, he's jumping over the fence to get to the bunnies. He's doing the work that he needs to do to get there. But what I feel like is happening, again, is that you may be doing work for a soul, purpose. All right? You're, trying to get to this end game. You're trying to do something specific. You want to take that leap of faith, but you don't even really know where you want to go right now, and you're not really sure how to get there. So what Spirit's saying is stop thinking about the outcome and just be in the flow of the present moment. Take that leap of faith into the unknown. You don't have to know all the details. You don't have to know where you're going. Just take that leap of faith into the heart, into your love. Trust that the divine is guiding you. Trust that the light will be there to show you the way. You will get the reassurance that you need when you trust and you go into that vibration of joy rather than sadness. You know, the whale holds the wisdom. So I feel like a lot of you have been turning off your wisdom. This guy holds the energy of magic. You haven't been trusting the magic in life. Here you got the turtle. It's like you guys have been in a rush. And with the dolphin, this is about joy. You haven't been living in joy. These are the things that you need to bring your awareness to and start working on, rather than working on getting to those bunnies. Work on the process, work on the journey, work on the healing that needs to happen. Work on your foundation and know that the foundation for the first cycle has been laid down. It's good. Now you're working on the next cycle. You're working on the foundation for the next part of your journey. So you don't want to create one that's all blah, 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 blah. You want one that's slow and steady, one that's going to flow appropriately, one where you just trust in the process. You know that the magic of the world is assisting you. You know the magic of the universe is assisting you. And you're just going with the flow to where you're meant to be, with who you're meant to be, where. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles. So again, this is about that long-term commitment, that person who's going to be loyal to you. I feel like Spirit is saying it's time to focus that on self again. You don't want to be looking for the person externally to do this. You want to do this and embody this within. This is you. This is what you need to feel for yourself. You need to be that loyal companion for you. You need to nourish yourself. You need to feed yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You need to work on the foundation that you're laying down. And then with the Three of Wands, this is about waiting. And what I feel like Spirit is saying is stop waiting. Because while you're waiting for this to manifest, and while you're waiting for reassurance from external sources, and while you're worried about this or worried about that, or trying to like rush the process through waiting, you're actually creating resistance. And this can't take flight. You're creating burdens and energetic things that are blocking you from having the thing that you want to come. So it's time to set sail into life. And it's time to release the resistance that you're creating through waiting for your Ten of Pentacles. You need to go out and manifest your Ten of Pentacles on your own. You need to trust wherever you're being called to go and just go. Stop waiting for something to happen. Start taking flight and release the burdens that have been slowing you down so that you can manifest this nourishment within yourself, so that you can feel confident within yourself, so that you can feel confident in the foundation that you laid, so that you know that you're working together in the energy of Spirit to take that leap of faith and to trust, to just heal those emotions. So basically for number 2, your emotions are needing to be balanced. It could be you, it could be them. I feel like it's you both. You need to just trust this process as you go into the next phase of your journey. You need to release that resistance that you're creating by chasing, like, it's not even chasing, it's like you're waiting, okay? You're waiting and waiting and waiting. But you're creating resistance through that because you're waiting for a certain outcome. You need to just get into this process of going and flowing and release the resistance that's created by this. So for some of you, I feel like you're at this place of hesitation, of you're not really sure where you're going. If you want to go with a new person or wait for the old person. But either way, you're creating resistance by not just letting yourself trust that wisdom within. Trust the mystery of not really knowing everything in this moment. Trust that there's magic to assist you. Go slow and steady into the joy that you feel inside. If you're not feeling joy in a moment, then that's a clear indicator that you're on that wrong path. But first you got to heal those emotions, cleanse that emotional body so that the foundation that you're setting sail from is in alignment and it is in a place of balance. And then you're doing the energetic work, and then you take that leap of faith into the mystery, into the unknown. You're no longer waiting for life to happen. You're manifesting it. You're setting off into flight, free from the energetic burdens that you've created and free from the energetic burdens that may have been manifested from your counterpart. So trust that wisdom within you and know that this is your reassurance that you're going into a next cycle where there's a lot of wisdom and a lot of love and a lot of emotional healing to be had. So these processes aren't quick. I feel like people on the journey sometimes want to speed things up. They want to like have it happen now. But they're not meant to be quick little journeys. If you're on a twin flame journey, you know, it's a process. You got to go through the process of healing and learning and not waiting. You know, you don't want to just sit around waiting. Go out and live your life. I feel like you could have contracts and things that need to be healed, that need to be cleansed. You need to go off and just be who you are. So I'm going to move on to number 3. And we're going to find out what needs to be healed in your connection. So first off, we have 111111 messages in the numbers, and then paradigm shift. So the message here is that you guys are seeing the numbers, okay? You're seeing the synchronicity. You're getting downloads and frequencies and energies constantly bombarded at you. And I feel like some of you are like, what are these? Why are they coming in? Or you're not really looking deeper into the meaning of the message. So every number holds energy and frequency and a message, but it's always going to be unique, okay? We all have the core numbers, the core meaning, the core whatever, but every time you see it, it could mean something different. So 1111 is an awakening number. It's a twin flame number, but it's also a reminder to keep your thoughts positive. And I feel like what Spirit's trying to say here is sometimes you're looking at the numbers, but you're not looking deeper into that meaning. You're not opening up the doorway for the paradigm shift. You're not like allowing your consciousness to ascend up into a higher awareness because you're not looking into the deeper meaning of when you're seeing that number. So when you see the number, don't focus on the number or the synchronicity. Maybe you're seeing rainbows. Maybe you're seeing something particular all the time. And you're just looking at like it at face value or what the message is about it, you know, that you've received like through somebody's video or somebody's article. Oh, this is what that number means. Okay. What Spirit's saying is like, when you see the number, what are you thinking about? Because that is what you need to focus on. It's a number that's giving you confirmation. So if you're thinking of something negatively and you see 1111, Spirit is giving you an indication that whatever you were thinking about has energetic blockages that are keeping that paradigm from shifting, that's keeping that doorway from opening. It's not allowing the door to open to allow you to go into the next part of your connection with your person. So there's blockages happening and they're trying to give you the messages, but you're kind of like closed off to it in some ways. Or your person may be. So your person may be seeing all the synchronicity and all these messages and have no clue what it means. But for you, when you decode it, send it telepathically to them so that they receive it, so that doorway can open for the both of you. So say you see, 4, that's about your foundation. I feel like your foundation within this connection is shifting and it needs to go through this paradigm shift, but somebody is keeping the door closed on it. And so when you start seeing your synchronicity and your numbers, think about what you're thinking about. Think about what core wound that could be connected to. And then open up that door telepathically to send it to them so they have it in their unconscious, subconscious, in their consciousness on some level so they can integrate it and download that information, which will assist in opening that doorway. And I feel like one of you is more conscious than the other, but you're not always taking that role on. You're not always sending them the information that you should be. And that is a part of what needs to be healed so that you guys can actually learn and heal, so you can actually understand and decode the frequency that's coming into you. Some of you may have like ringing in the ears. Some of you may have physical things happening, dreams happening. These are all messages from Spirit that are trying to assist you and guiding you to shift the paradigm, but you're not looking deeper into the meaning. So meditate on it too. Like if you're not sure of what you were thinking about when you see the number or when you see a rainbow or when you see whatever it is that you keep seeing that, like the dolphin may be connected or the whale or the swan, whatever it is, meditate on it so you can get the message with the intention to send them that understanding telepathically so that you can heal your connection. You can open up the doorway in your connection. Then we had the fire puppy. No, we had 6 of Sky, which is the 6 of Swords. So, in your connection, what I noticed about this was that this bunny's protecting itself and this squirrel's protecting its nuts, okay? And then we have the dog that's been all like beaten up and bruised by the thorns. I feel like both of the people in this connection are protecting themselves from each other, basically, from something in this connection that is hurting you guys. So it's like there's a bunch of thorns, and it's like every time something happens, you guys are like going at it, And I feel like it's like a recurring thing that keeps happening. It's a pattern. And Spirit's been trying to show you where to go to get the information to heal this. Because, again, over here with this fire puppy, this is that Knight of Wands energy. I feel like what's been happening is this person comes in and then they leave. And so you're both wounded. But this person's doing that because they've already been wounded. So they're afraid. They're trying to protect their nuts so that they don't, like, get hurt. So they may have been hurt in the past by somebody. So now they're afraid that if they come in, they're going to get hurt with you. So they end up hurting you. And it's like they're trying to just come in and out. And then now you've gotten to this point where you've closed off to wanting them to come in because every time they come in, they hurt you. So you both have been hurt so many times by this energy, but it's both of you having defense mechanisms set up. But one of you has to be the one that opens the door and looks deeper into this to figure out, why is this happening? What are we protecting ourselves from? What is the core of this issue? Did it start in this lifetime? Did it start in a past life? Why does this keep happening? Why does this person keep doing this? Why do I feel like I need to protect myself from this person now? Because if you're in that energy, they're going to be in that energy. You guys are mirroring each other, feeling like you need to protect yourselves from each other. And so you're not getting anywhere. I also feel like there's a part of the problem was in the foundation of your connection. So there's like a progression that's happening here. So we have the fire puppy, the fire alpha female, and then over here we have the King of Wands. So this is the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the King of Wands. So I feel like in the foundation that was created by you guys, the Four of Pentacles, you may have set up this dynamic between the two of you that hasn't allowed this person to grow into the King of Wands because you're in this defense mechanism, right? So they came in the past, maybe you guys connected sexually, then they left. They came back, they did it again, then they left. I feel like there's a lot of sexual passion between the two of you, so you guys are drawn to each other like magnets, you come together to have sex, but then they leave. So now there's all these defense mechanisms up on both parts of this, on both parts of these people. But it was created within the foundation. Maybe you were okay with it in the past, or you weren't okay with it, but it kind of just happened. Maybe it was like you guys came together, you had sex, they thought that was okay, and then that's just like the dynamic that started. But they started it because they were afraid of getting hurt. And you are now afraid of them hurting you over and over and over. So you want to look at why this ever happened. You also want to look at wherever else this happened in your life. Have you been cheated on in the past? Have you been played in the past? You know, things like that. And also there's this like huge sexual energy between the two of you. So I need that sexual healing needs to occur for both of you. So this person could have gone through sexual trauma. You could have gone through sexual trauma. Something has happened that has put this dynamic here, and it was in the foundation. So it could be a foundation from this lifetime or past lives, but something is set up that is now keeping you guys in this cycle of continuously hurting each other because you're not opening up the doorway to understand deeper meaning of it, so that this person can grow into the King of Wands and explore their passion without the fear. And you can allow them to explore their passion without the fear. You can open up to each other. You can open up the door. You can heal the foundation that's been laid between the two of you, so you can be the King and Queen of Wands. You can have a healthy passion where it's not just ignited and then put out. It flows and it goes and it grows into this healthy partnership. Three of Earth. This is the Three of Pentacles. This is working together to build something. You know, these two work together. These are like the dictators. They tell this person how to do it. So it's like you two need to, like, I feel like you and Spirit need to figure out, or like Spirit's trying to help you two figure out how to build this, right? So you're like the architects. You need to be the architect to work on this partnership with Spirit, so that Spirit can help guide you to opening that door. And Spirit's been trying to give you the messages. Spirit's been trying to show you what was laid down in the foundation that was messed up. You know, if the foundation's messed up, the whole house is messed up, or the whole statue's messed up, whatever. So whatever occurred within the foundation of your connection needs to be healed, so that you guys can lay down the burden, so you can lay down the energy and the fear, so that this healthy passion can be explored between the two of you, and you can ascend and grow. Now the other messages are know your worth and time to heal. So I feel like a lot of it stems from not having a lot of value. So when this person came into your life, they may not have valued you because you didn't value yourself. Maybe you allowed them to come in and treat you as a booty call. And so the value that they had on you went down. But they may have done that because something happened to them with their value. They may feel like they're not adequate enough to have a full-on relationship. They feel like maybe in the future this person will end up leaving them. So if they leave before that person leaves, they'll be protected. Defense mechanisms are up in this connection big time. So this person could be acting this way with multiple people so that they don't get hurt by anybody. If I leave first, then I'm safe. And if I just have sex with people, I'm good. And they may have thought that you were okay with that because maybe your value and worth was down and you allowed it to happen, but then it hurt you and you allowed it and it keeps repeating. So now you're in this energy of, I better just protect myself. I don't want to be like the bunny anymore. And this person's protecting themselves up here. So there's something within the foundation that needs to be healed, but mainly it's your worth and your value. And when when this person's value rises and your value rises, that's when you heal. That's when these changes happen. 555 is change. The numbers, they're telling you this needs to change. And when this changes, when you are realizing your value and your worth, and this person realizes that they're valuable and that they're worthy of unconditional love, they're worthy to be with somebody that the passion's not going to die out on. This person isn't going to leave you. This person's just hiding from you because you've hurt them, you know. That's when this is going to change. That's when this is going to heal. So the message is you just need to look at the core of this and not take it on personally. Don't look at it like they did this just to hurt you. Look at it because they're doing it for some other reason. Something happened to them along the way that made them act in that way, and you didn't have enough value in the past to say anything or put a stop to it, so you got hurt. But now you're both in this place where you can decide if you're going to work together to fix it. Are you going to, tear down the old foundation so that doorway can open to a new paradigm? And again, 4 is that foundation. It's time to open the door to healing. It's time to know that you are valuable and your person is valuable and that this can change. Okay? So I hope that you guys enjoyed the messages. Thank you very much. The next one that I do will be, the other ones that were out there. It was now that they're back, they're back, now what? And then the other is how to turn them on. So I'll get those guys done, but I had some malfunctioning with the camera. Thank you so much, Kristen, for this lovely deck. I love it. It is perfect. I am a dog mama, and they are so cute. You are awesome sauce. I wish the first video that I did worked out because it was much more in depth, but there's always a reason. If you like the video, hit like. If you don't, you can dislike. Either way, that'll help me out. If you would like to send a deck, there is an Amazon link down below. If you'd like to make a donation, I would appreciate it. It is a link down below. Thank you to all who have donated. Thank you to all who have sent decks. Thank you so much, Kristen, for all the decks that you have sent. You are amazing. Thank you guys. If you'd like a private reading, I am on a 2-week wait, and I am like right at 2 weeks. So it will be at least 14 days before you get your reading back as of right now. But I can add you to my list. So thank you, everybody. In Monet, namaste.